Last week ended with some reports that the little rocket man, the dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, might be dead or might be just fine. We don't know exactly which. That he might have gone under heart surgery at the ripe old age of 37, and it might not have worked out well, and he might be brain dead. In fact, one reporter actually had posted that from a major network and then pulled the post down, saying they were going to wait for better information. Well, at this point, we're not quite sure what the status of Kim Jong-un is, so I thought we'd check in with Olivia Enos, who's Senior Policy Analyst in the Asian Studies Center at the Heritage Foundation. Olivia, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much for having me back on.
All right, well, you're in charge of Asian Studies at Heritage, so you will know for sure. How's Kim Jong-un doing tonight?
Well, like everything with North Korea, it's very difficult to separate fact from fiction. And my colleague, Bruce Klingner, who used to be the former deputy bureau chief for Korea at the CIA, always says that at the CIA they called it the hardest of the hard targets in terms of being able to nail down facts and details, and this is certainly no different. As you referenced, we're not sure whether or not he's had some sort of heart attack. Some people have reported that he's potentially in a coma or some sort of vegetative state, and others have suggested because his train was spotted at the Wonsan Beach Resort, that is the Kim family's, luxurious place of abode, that he is just hiding out due to the coronavirus. I think it'll be really difficult for us to know what exactly is the state of Kim Jong-un until the North Korean media confirms it, because as we know with his father, Kim Jong-il, the U.S. intelligence agencies didn't know until 2 days after his death that he had, in fact, passed away. And one of the things that has folks who are watching Korea really concerned right now is that, we have not seen pictures of him in the North Korean media at all. And with rumors flying around and so widespread, you would think that the North Korean media would at least post a picture of him as proof of life, but we have not yet received that.
Unless, of course, Olivia, he does seem to like attention, and he knows that he gets attention when he sets off nuclear weapons. He gets attention when he sets off missiles. Maybe he's liking the attention, because the thing that floors me is if anybody was going to be safe as a world leader from the coronavirus, wouldn't it be Kim Jong-un? There's a country that doesn't have to worry about shutting down flights from the outside too very much, does it? Because they don't have a lot of contact with the outside. They have some, but they don't have much contact with the outside world. So where in the world would he pick up the coronavirus? America and other countries are an entirely different prospect. Millions of people flying on airplanes, or used to, until this happened. He doesn't exactly have that problem, does he?
You would think, given the isolated nature of North Korea, that it would be easy for them to keep coronavirus out. But I think that there's a reality that's often overlooked, which is that porous border between North Korea and China, where a lot of ordinary North Koreans are doing and conducting a lot of economic activities in their informal market economy. And so I think it's
informal, meaning is that one under the table or more like contraband and smuggling kind of things?
Some of it would be considered illegal, but a lot of it would actually be considered normal free market activity that, we would expect to see, say, here in the U.S. or any other part of the world, but that the Kim regime often deems as illegal since they don't embrace a free market economy as a general part of their, their government system. But one of the things that we do have to keep in mind is that we do know for a fact that North Korea had, in fact, shut down schools due to fears of coronavirus. There were, in fact, pictures of people wearing masks in Pyongyang and elsewhere. And we have heard reports, potentially related directly to Kim Jong-un, that the Chinese have, in fact, sent a medical team to North Korea, and many are speculating that this would be for Kim Jong-un, because the reality is that even the elites in Pyongyang don't have access to top-of-the-line medical care. So just imagine what the situation is like for an ordinary North Korean who doesn't have any access to really top-of-the-line medical care in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic.
Well, especially when you consider that if it starts to take off in their population because of this informal contact across borders with China and elsewhere, this trading or smuggling or contraband or legitimate activity, that there'd be nobody there to contain it. And I would think that if you're the average North Korean, not one in the upper ranks, if you get it, I have a feeling. Do we know to a certainty what the government's reaction would be? Would it be like Kim's reaction apparently to certain people who displease him, just take them out and have them shot or killed or disposed of in some way? Because I think you'd be scared to death to admit that you even thought you'd been exposed to this kind of thing.
Yeah, at this point, the reports coming out of North Korea are extraordinarily limited, but I do think that we would have to be pretty concerned about how the ordinary North Korean would respond. Many of them we know are malnourished. I mean, when you see the statistics for a South Korean child as opposed to a North Korean child at basic check-in points, they are markedly smaller, both in terms of height, but also in terms of weight, because many individuals are still malnourished or not receiving the proper amounts of nutrition that they would need. So a coronavirus outbreak could really wreak havoc, not just because the medical system doesn't have the capacity to deal with something like that, but because the people's immune systems are likely compromised as well.
And if he goes, Olivia, what's your best guess as to who would step into his place? Would it be his sister?
Yeah, a lot of people are speculating that it could be his sister. What makes the sort of, ascendancy or, pretty dangerous at this point is that unlike his father, Kim Jong-un, and unlike his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, there is no heir apparent that is male and of age. His eldest son is 10 years old. And so many have speculated that his 30-year-old sister, Kim Yo-jong, might take his place, but there's never been a female leader in North Korea. And the society itself is very patriarchal. So it really remains to be seen, and that is a big question in policymakers' minds, beyond just the fact that, we don't know whether Kim Jong-un is okay, but we do know that North Korea possesses missiles. We do know that North Korea has nuclear weapons, and we do know that North Korea continues to abuse and violate the rights of its people. And so I think for that reason, we should continue to maintain maximum pressure policy that targets them with sanctions, because whether it's Kim Jong-un or another Kim or someone else entirely, we know that North Korea has a track record, regardless of succession, of continuing its belligerent behavior toward the United States and toward its own people.
Absolutely. Olivia Enos, thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet. That's Olivia Enos, who is Senior Policy Analyst at the Asian Studies Center at the Heritage Foundation.